For the two coaches vying for the NFL championship, victory meant different things. I'm Frank Gifford. To Vince Lombardi, it meant an unprecedented third straight title. For Dallas's Tom Landry, victory would be the realization of an 8-year-old dream. But the real story was contained in the confrontation of two teams who battled each other in the numbing cold for 59 minutes and 44 seconds when the clock for the second straight year became the ultimate judge.
On the day of the NFL championship, it was an incredible 15 degrees below zero in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It was a day that might well be remembered as much for the numbing cold as the football. The frigid pall of winter is a way of life in Green Bay, and droves of Packer fans poured into Lambeau Stadium hours before game time. Most went through the turnstiles with their tickets tightly clenched in frozen hands. Others took a more unorthodox approach. Inside, the crowd resembled a multi-headed dragon as they huddled, shivered, and patiently awaited their beloved Packers. Dressed in the bright costumes of winter, Packer loyalists came well prepared to face the elements, as did the players, whose eerie appearance matched that of the fans. By game time, the temperature had warmed up to 13 below, and the players had to combat both the piercing chill and ice-glazed turf of Lambeau Stadium. Even on the bench, the intense cold found them. Herded into bleak dugouts, the players waited grimly until it was time to return to the wars. But professional football players are a special breed. Men who manage to disdain and overcome the conditions that visibly affect their play. Conditions that would cause a receiver to drop a perfect pass or fumble a wind-blown punt. Timing and execution is crucial, even under ideal circumstances. And at times, the slippery field betrayed both teams. On defense, maneuvering was hazardous. And late in the game, defenders would gladly have traded in their cleats for ice skates. The receivers also found the footing treacherous. Changing direction was difficult, and coming back for a badly directed pass, impossible. The player the conditions most affected was Cowboy receiver Bob Hayes, pro football's fastest player. Buffeted by both a tough Packer defense and the weather, Hayes turned into the world's coldest human. The stage was set. Conditions would dictate the strategy, but it would be the players who would decide the final outcome in pro football's coldest war. Last year in Dallas, Green Bay had defeated these same Cowboys 34-27. Today, the Packers would attempt to claim their third straight NFL title. It would be a stern task even for a team built on pride and nourished by the impossible. The Cowboys witnessed an impressive Packer start that saw them score the first time they had possession of the ball. Donnie Anderson started the Packer march as quarterback Bart Starr quickly established his running game. The Dallas pass rush consumed Starr early as George Andre dropped him for a 9-yard loss and an omen of things to come. But an interference penalty canceled the loss. And when Starr isolated halfback Donnie Anderson on a linebacker, the Packers had moved to midfield. Then the Packers began to rip apart the Cowboys through the air. 2 receptions by split-end Carroll Dale, number 84, netted a pair of first downs and placed the ball on the Dallas 9-yard line. One play later, Boyd Dowler took a pass over the middle for a touchdown. To Packer backers, the quick score looked almost too simple. Bart Starr had decimated one of football's best defenses by, in effect, exploiting just one man's inexperience. Twice he had sent the crafty Dale to test young cornerback Mike Johnson, number 23. Dale beat him to the inside, then to the outside. Starr moved flanker Boyd Dowler to Johnson's side. Dowler probed once to the outside, then inevitably strode past him for a touchdown. Trailing 7-0 at the end of the first quarter, the Cowboys appeared listless. The offense seemed to operate in a dream world that revealed none of its well-documented explosiveness. On the other hand, the Packers, guided by Starr's leadership, operated flawlessly with almost mechanical brilliance. Early in the second period, they launched another drive, relying this time on setbacks Ben Wilson, number 36, and Travis Williams, number 23. Green Bay found the right side of the Cowboy line vulnerable, and on 2 slants by Williams, they had hammered into Cowboy territory. Confronted with the 3rd-and-1 situation, Starr took one of his calculated risks, and it worked. After faking into the line, Starr calmly threw a perfect 43-yard strike to Dowler for the Packers' second touchdown and a comfortable 14-0 lead. It was a dismal, discouraging day for Tom Landry until late in the second quarter. His offense still remained impotent and lackluster, but the slumbering Cowboy defense became aroused and began to seek out Starr and destroy him. Now the Cowboys, not the Packers, who made the brilliant individual plays and began to resemble the 11 men called the Doomsday Defense. Suddenly, the polished Packer offensive machine ground to a halt. The constant pressure forced a fumble from the usually imperturbable Starr, whose first error was converted into a touchdown by the Dallas defense. After nearly 25 minutes of play, there was finally something to cheer about for Dallas. On one startling maneuver, Dallas trailed by only a touchdown. Starr, caught in a pincer by the Cowboy defensive ends, had the ball punched out of his arms by Willie Towns. George Andre scooped the ball off the slick ground and rumbled into the end zone. Just before halftime, the Cowboys received their second break. Safety Willie Wood misplayed a punt, and Dallas recovered. Fumbles by Starr and Wood, 2 of the most poised and reliable Packers, had ironically altered the course of the game. Danny Villanueva's 21-yard field goal cut the Packer lead to just 4 points at halftime. Instead of a possible rout, the Packers were on the precipice of defeat. The extreme cold. The only thing Packer fans could do was pray for a return to form of their Packers. But the Packer offense proved to be just as cold as the weather. The Doomsday Defense continued its devastating rush on Bart Starr. 8 times Starr was thrown for a loss attempting to pass. the most times ever for the Green Bay quarterback. In this third quarter, Green Bay gained a grand total of 10 yards. However, the essence of the third quarter was contained in 2 Dallas drives which ultimately failed for the same reason. For the first time in the game, the Cowboy offense launched a serious assault at the Packer goal. Directed by quarterback Don Meredith, the Cowboys began to attack the Packer flanks. The man most responsible for Dallas's success was setback Dan Reeves, number 30, who skipped through large holes in the defense and led the Cowboys to the Packer 18-yard line. Then the Packer defense, which tantalizes opponents by giving them a taste of progress, allowing them so close yet so far, stiffened. They denied Reeves access to the outside and forced Meredith into a crucial 3rd and 14 situation. Finding his receivers covered, Meredith gambled and lost. Hit by linebacker Leroy Caffey, Meredith fumbled, and the Packers recovered. Thus, the first drive ended in failure. 2 minutes later, the Green Bay defense would prove impregnable again. Again, Reeves was the catalyst for the second drive. By running and receiving, Reeves gave Dallas its final scoring chance of the period. Dallas reached the Packer 32 and went no further. A blitz by Leroy Caffey buried Meredith for a huge loss and forced a futile field goal attempt by Danny Villanueva. For 2 series, Meredith's strategy was disrupted and ruined by the looming specter of Packer corner linebacker Leroy Caffey. Caffey, number 60, had plagued Dallas all afternoon, but it was in the third quarter that he was the most destructive. On Dallas's 2 drives, Caffey had pursued, bombed, and blitzed the Cowboys. Dallas had dominated every phase of play in the third quarter, but couldn't manage a score. And it was number 60 who personally changed the outcome of a championship. As the fourth quarter began, all seemed hopeless for Dallas, but they had persevered, and on the first play of the last quarter, they stunned Green Bay with an option pass from Dan Reeves to Lance Rensel for a touchdown. First time in the game, Dallas led 17-14. Versatile Dan Reeves, who had brought the Cowboys so close in the third quarter, finally took them closer to their first NFL championship. Reeves had run through the Packers, had sneaked around them, and finally had thrown over them for the go-ahead score. As the temperature dropped and the field turned to ice, it was now the Packers who appeared tense and bewildered. For the first time since early in the second period, Green Bay crossed midfield on a pass from Starr to Dowler. Primed for an upset, the Cowboy defense frustrated Starr's every effort and held the Packers for 3 straight downs. On On fourth down, Don Chandler attempted a 40-yard field goal that fell harmlessly short. 9 minutes remained. To claim their first NFL title, Dallas had to score if possible. If not, they had to maintain possession of the ball. With the footing uncertain, Meredith stuck to the ground, using fullback Don Perkins, number 43, and Dan Reeves to run the Packers out of time. The plan worked until the Packer defense began to assert itself. The rigid Green Bay defense trapped Reeves for a loss and forced Meredith into something he didn't want to do: pass. Meredith scrambled out of the pocket and found tight end Frank Clark for an important first down at the Cowboy 41. From the 41, attempted passes on second and third down failed, and the Cowboys were forced to relinquish the ball to Green Bay. Two distinct elements, the weather and the Packer defense, which had stymied Dallas nearly all day, crushed them when it counted the most. On 3 key plays, the icy turf betrayed them, and Green Bay had reaped the rewards. By failing to run out the clock, Dallas was forced to punt to Green Bay. They would allow the Packers 5 minutes to reclaim their destiny, an eternity in professional football. Four big plays had brought the game to its thrilling climax. 2 star-to-dollar touchdowns had given the Packers a quick 14-0 lead. But Dallas had rallied on a touchdown scored by their defense. Then a second quarter field goal and a surprise pass in the last period had given them a 17-14 advantage. So with 5 minutes left, the Packers had the ball and were 68 long yards from the championship. On Green Bay's first play, Starr selected Donnie Anderson on a swing pass that gained 6 yards. It was a complicated play by conservative Green Bay standards. Starr first faked to both setbacks. Anderson, number 44, nonchalantly drifted into the flat. Starr, the master of deception, never looked Anderson's way until the last second when he unloaded his pass. Chuck Mercine, Green Bay's third-string fullback, picked up the first down at the Packer 45. On a slant-in, Starr found Boyd Dowler for another first down as the relentless Packers crossed midfield. However, the pass to Dowler proved costly. Trying to strain for additional yards, Dowler was clubbed down by number 52, Dave Edwards, and stunned senseless by the frigid turf. With Green Bay at their 42 and 3.5 minutes to play, the Cowboys' title dreams were seemingly crumbling away when their defense came up with its biggest play. End Willie Town slipped through a gap and smothered Anderson for a 9-yard loss. Now it was 2nd and 19, and Starr would have to produce a miracle. In fact, he would produce 2 of them. Now favoring his setbacks as receivers because of the slippery field, Starr threw to Donnie Anderson. On that last play, Anderson had concealed himself in the blocking shield, then sneaked out to the unprotected flat to gather in Starr's pass. The 13-yard gain made it 3rd and 7 at the Dallas 39. Only 2 minutes remained. For the 3rd time in the series, Starr connected with Anderson, who maneuvered 9 yards for the all-important first down and the second miracle. It was now a desperate race against time, and the clock mirrored the Cowboys' fate. With it 1st and 10 on the 30, Starr lofted a swing pass to Mercine, who fought his way 19 yards to the 11. More importantly, Mercine stepped out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:11 seconds to play. Mercine, who only 5 weeks ago was playing for a New York Giants farm team, crashed 8 yards closer to victory and NFL history. Donnie Anderson kept his footing and made it 1st and goal on the 1. With 35 seconds to play, the final Green Bay drive brought back memories of last year's championship game in Dallas. Trailing 34-27, the Cowboys had over 2 minutes in which to tie Green Bay and send that title game into overtime. In Dallas, it was not Vince Lombardi, but Tom Landry who suffered as time was running out. Helped by an interference penalty, Dallas was 2 yards from a possible sudden death playoff. But the Cowboys fumbled away opportunity, and on 4th down with 1 chance left, Meredith's pass was intercepted to clinch a 34-27 victory for Green Bay. The defeat left only an empty stadium and bitter memories for Dallas. Now, 1 year later, Tom Landry watched Green Bay in almost the identical situation. 30 seconds to play, 1st down at the 1. On 1st and 2nd down, the slick field caused Anderson to slip and Green Bay did not gain an inch. The icy field, which for most of the game had been Green Bay's most formidable ally, became their tormentor. And with 16 seconds to play, Starr called his last timeout. The determined Dallas defense, which had held the Packers scoreless for over 41 minutes, had to prevail for 1 more play, and the championship was theirs. It was a garish nightmare. 16 seconds stood between him and an 8-year-old dream. Bart Starr, on a quarterback sneak, scored, and Tom Landry's dream lay crumpled on the icy ground of Lambeau Stadium. The jubilant Packers and their iron-willed coach had become the first team to win 3 successive championships in the modern history of the National Football League. The game had come down to 1 last play, 1 last second, and 1 man's block. Packer guard Jerry Kramer, number 64, had blasted a path for Starr over Cowboy tackle Jethro Pugh. Taking advantage of Pugh's 6'6" height, Kramer had uprooted him, and Starr tumbled happily into a championship. It was the climactic ending to the most dramatic championship since the sudden death playoff in 1958. In only 16 seconds, the Cowboys had lost a trip to Miami in the Super Bowl and gained a sad one home to Dallas. In reality, the Packers were crowned world champions not in sunny Florida, but in the gelid confines of their own arena.